Thanks for watching today. This afternoon we'll make a very important vote, and that vote will be hopefully to pass a balanced budget amendment. That vote is very important for the future of our nation. Many of you have submitted questions about the balanced budget amendment. I want to say thank you for the submission. It's very important for me to have an opportunity to answer those questions, so let's get to it. Mr. Bob Grace, Bill Cole, and Richard Wilson had a similar question, and it had to do with how we move forward after the House passes it. So what's the next steps after the House passes the BBA? Well, the answer is a simple one. The President doesn't have to sign this piece of legislation. Because it's a constitutional amendment, it will go to the states after the Senate passes it. The good news is Senator Reid cannot stop it from going to the House Senate floor. So, here's what happens. 51 senators pass it, it goes to the states. The repeal process, which has been a question, what is the process of repeal? If there needed to be a repeal of this constitutional amendment, it would act in the same way as any repeal on any other constitutional amendment, and there's only been one constitutional amendment that was repealed. Can you guess what it is? Yep, prohibition. We'll go to the next set of questions. Ralph Payton and Jim Owens had another very important question. I look forward to talking about it right now. Both had questions concerning the effects of the BBA and what those effects would be during times of war and disaster, as well as whether it would create more gridlock here in Washington. Well, I believe honestly that a BBA will create less gridlock because we will understand what the new parameters of the game really will be. That will help us to not spend above a certain level. Very important for the future of our nation. Second thing is that in times of war, there is an exception. So you would not have to operate under a balanced budget amendment during times of war. Another exception is during disasters. It would take a 3/5 vote, or 60% of both houses, for us to not be guided by the balanced budget amendment. Long term, lower taxes is the strongest opportunity we have. I believe this without any question, that if we allow ourselves to think long term, this balanced budget amendment, which would lower our debt over time, would also allow us to lower taxes over time. That's what I believe will happen. Mr. Thomas Nace has a question. He wants to know how the balanced budget amendment will impact seniors. I hear your concern. I actually agree with you. A couple of things I've said on the campaign trail. One of the commitments I made was that one was not to allow the changes that are necessary to impact current seniors receiving assistance in Medicare or Social Security. Look, I get it, you get it. At the end of the day, seniors have paid for the benefits that they have today. That's why it's very important for us to change the system for the next generation of beneficiaries. People like me in their late 30s. I used to be in my late 30s. So, people like me, early 40s, late 30s, and younger, we should expect a completely different system than we have today. The way that we are able to honor our commitments to those who are 54 and older is to make sure that those of us who are younger have a different system, but a system that we can depend on. We simply cannot balance our budgets on the back of our seniors. That is simply wrong. It is something that we are not discussing, we do not believe in, and I will not support. That is a very important position for us to recognize and to remember that the greatest generation, we will take care of those folks who took care of us, and they paid for these benefits. Mr. Alexander Holland and Ms. Kathy Anthony have a great question, and what they're wondering about is the balanced budget amendment's overall role in improving our financial situation in this country. Really important question, another good question. Let me just say this, y'all have asked some fantastic questions. I wish I had enough time to get to them all, but I can't. So we're going to make this our last couple of questions that we have time to answer before we have to go vote in just a little while. The balanced budget amendment will simply not have an immediate impact on our economy. But what it will have long term is a strengthening effect. Because as we live within our means, it means that future dollars will come in and will be spent for future needs. Today what's happening is we are actually taxing the future generations for the benefits that we have today. That means there will be fewer dollars tomorrow for the needs of tomorrow because of the way that we're spending our money today. Government spending is a huge concern to small businesses. And because of that, small businesses are unable to grow. Large businesses have the same concern. And this impact is more fear and higher taxes. So by reining in our spending, by lowering our spending, we actually create a more logical and predictable future for the next generation of Americans. Simply put, the Balanced Budget Amendment is in effect a guarantee for a better America in the long run. Thank you for your questions. I look forward to the next opportunity to answer questions from my bosses, my constituents, which are you, the voters of the 1st Congressional District. Thank you so much for watching today.